also by Matan Torah, said, no, I know that they won't keep it perfectly. I know a guy's going to eat crab meat. I know he's going to, be Mechal Shabbos. I know he's going to, fight me on, blow me off, going to curse me, I know all this. Murder, that's it, all the Ten Commandments, they're going to know. I'm still giving them the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu entrusted you and you and you and you and you and each and every one of us. The Torah is ours to take care of it. You are, in Hashem's eyes anyway, a wonderful human being. You could do with some improvement, right? But you're a wonderful human being. You're here. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not listen to Malachim when He created you anyway. You're here with the Torah entrusted to keep it. With everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knew, with all the challenges and with all the failures. Right? That's the key ingredient of feeling good about yourself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves me, right? Because a lot of us feel, right, and we've all gone through this at one point or another in life, if not for long, long, long stretches during life, feeling, well, I'm unemployed and my marriage failed and my kids, dropped out of school, they're drug addicts, this and that, and I can't read Aleph Beis, so obviously I'm, less than zero. Not true. Right? All those things happen, and halavai, none of those things should happen to any yid ever again, right? But that's irrelevant, right? It's relevant to other parts of life, but it's not relevant to, are you a worthwhile human being who should feel good about himself? But that is only one thing to look at, and that's the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created you, keeps you going, right, with whatever sort of stuff you're going through, but He wants you here, and He wants you Jewish. Right? And that's crucial. It's crucial to be able to stand up, as we mentioned before, like Avram Avinu, against all the religious authorities and against all the irreligious authorities, right? And to say, no, I'm sincerely trying to understand how to be a Jew. This is how I see it, and this is how I'll decide. Right? And that takes a lot of honesty, and sometimes the person has to admit, that they may be wrong, in even many things. Right? But ultimately, again, Echad Haya Avram, Avinu was one and only, and you and your decisions are also a one and only. And you can only make the right decisions that are yours. Right? See, your wrong decision is better than trying to pretend that you're somebody else. Right? Because that's what Kadosh Baruch Hu wants. Is that He wants you. Right? He wants you to be you. Right? Even if you'll make a mistake today, if you're sincere, right? Which I'm sure you all are, otherwise you wouldn't come out in the rain for a class on a Wednesday night. Right? If you're sincere, sooner or later you'll do tshuva. You'll make up for the mistakes. Right. Now the question is, right? Well, let's stop now. Anybody has questions or no comments, just questions. Right. Comments we'll have later, maybe. Any questions? I didn't realize I was such a great teacher. Everything's clear the first time. Okay. Now, why this thing? Okay, this is really essential for good health, right? And here we come to the aspect of simcha that was mentioned earlier. Now, everybody knows, and this may come that everybody knows that the unofficial motto in Breslov is mitzvah gedola, b'simcha tamid. It's a great mitzvah, it's a big mitzvah, it's a super mitzvah, to be b'simcha all the time. I'm not translating b'simcha tonight, right? Because it's too broad, and with Hashem's help, I'm in the middle of writing a book about it, right? So I don't want to tip my hand. It's too early. right? Part of the marketing thing there. But it's a mitzvah gedolet liyos b'simcha tamid, right? Now, just a parenthetical statement. That's only half a statement in the Likutei Moharan. The other half of the statement is, and to be marchik, to keep at a distance, morashchoire v'atzvus, melancholy and depression. It's a mitzvah, yes, to be b'simcha, but it's also a mitzvah to, be proactive, and don't let the depression in the door in the first place, and then have to chase it out. It's better to develop a certain sense, an attitude, so that you're positive, you maintain a simcha attitude all the time. Okay. Now that's a motto. Mitzvah gedol liyos b'simcha tamid. That's a motto. I remember once I talked to Boston Rebbe Zichron Livracha from Boston. Right? I told him I was learning at a place. I don't want to mention the name. Well, that's no lashon hara here. No. I was learning for a brief period at a kollel in Yerushalayim called Ahavat Shalom. Right? So I mentioned this to the Rebbe Zichron Livracha, and he smiled and he gave a little laugh and he said, "They must hate each other." Right? Because he didn't know them at all, but he said he explained that most places, when they choose a name or a theme, as it were, for their focus in serving Hashem, it's to fight their weak point. So if a place is called Ahavat Shalom, it means they're leaning towards machloket, right? And therefore they have to push the shalom. Right? And you'll see, at least within the Dalet Amot, within the confines of organized Judaism, quote unquote, as compared to exciting Judaism, right? That this is the case. And this is also the case in Breslov. Right? I want to be accurate, so I'll just pull out for a moment the Likutei Moharan. Now, when the Rabbi Nachman says that it's a mitzvah gedol liyos b'simcha tamid, why does he put such an emphasis on being b'simcha? Right? Anyone want to guess? According to what we just said, don't be shy.
If you have four wheels,
The
nature of a person is to be depressed.
Right. That's right, but there's even more to it, right? In the second part of the Likutei Moharan, at the end of lesson 119, Rabbeinu Zal, Rabbi Nachman says like this. He says that we Jews believe that there are two worlds. There's an Olam Hazeh and an Olam Haba. Right? That's what we're talking about all the time. There's this world and the next world. So the Rebbe says, now we believe that there's a world to come. We believe there's an Olam Haba. And then he says, and it could be that somewhere in some parallel universe there's an Olam Hazeh also.
Wow.
But here, the Kan Nira, here it seems, Shehu HaGehenim. Where we live is hell.
One of the greatest statements
Right?
ever
And
said
it's
by
right
anybody.
here, black and white.
So beautiful.
Right? Why? Kikula Maleim Yisurim Gedolim Tamid. Everybody's full of suffering. Right? And the whole world is full of suffering. Right? That's a whole different topic to itself. Right? So, Mitzvah Gedolim Liyos B'Simcha Tamid, and you have to, you'll pardon my Yiddish, you have to hack it into your head. You have to knock and knock and knock and push this into your mind and into your heart, so much. And because this world is so full of pain, and because we're working, and the field is tilted towards, becoming upset. We don't necessarily fall right away into depression and despair and melancholy, but missed the train. I can't believe it. They lost. How could I have been so stupid? What is all sorts of things. That's a natural thing. And so, because we're having this all the time, we have to push ourselves and knock this idea into our heads. So we have to be b'simcha, right? And if you're besimcha, that being besimcha is the key to health. This the Rebbe says in that same lesson in the Likutei Moharan, which Rabbeinu Zal starts with mitzvah gedolah. So these words, mitzvah gedolah, yes, besimcha tamid. He says specifically that a person who is besimcha, simcha is a refuah. Right. Simcha is a refuah. And the Rebbe explains.
Does that make it for?
Refuah means healing or a cure, right? But not only for a person who's already sick. It's also
Preventive.
what's another word, a vaccination, right? If you have a person with simcha is less likely to get sick. And the Rebbe explains that the simcha and music are obviously related, you know, but how much and how strongly is not, doesn't come right away to mind. But there's a direct connection that the Rebbe says that there are 10 types of song, asara meaning negina, he calls them, asara meaning negina. This relates to the whole Tikkun HaKlali thing, but we're not going to talk about Tikkun HaKlali tonight. And the songs, these 10 types of songs are the basis for every type of song and every song that there is in the world.
Really?
Every song, every type of music, and even every type of thing that is pseudo music, right? Also, it all stems from the basic asara meaning negina. Right? That simcha, the joy that's invested in the asar meaning negina, ends up energizing the 10 types of pulse that a human being has. Now, I will confess, without hesitation, that I'm far from being an expert on matters of healing, and also the 10 types of pulse, whether they're 10 types of blood pulse, right, which could be, or different types of pulses, because I do know, I've heard, I would say no, I know that there is such a thing as other sorts of pulses relating to anybody who's been a patient of acupuncture, knows that there's all sorts of pulses, not just blood. So I'm not sure when the Rabbi Nachman Zal talks about 10 types of pulse, right, I'm not sure which he's referring to.
These 10 categories of pulses, this is a scientific information, or is it something like Kabbalah, something